Hi, I'm Brad, Certified Financial Planner, and today I'm here with Matt Callahan, and we're going to talk to you about all things Social Security. In fact, we're going to answer some of the questions that have been posed to us from our audience, and if you have questions or comments, make sure to leave them below. We'd love to interact with you too. Matt, there seems to be a raging debate about when to take Social Security, and it seems like people are literally fighting over this. Should they take it at 62? Should they take it at full retirement age? Should they take it at 67, 70 even? So I want to read to you a comment and just get your opinion. This is one of our listeners here, one of our audience members, James, says, by all means, don't take Social Security until you're almost dead and can no longer enjoy life. Diaper life is the same whether you're on welfare or you're collecting Social Security at 70. So what are your thoughts there, Matt? Should people take their benefit at 62? Should they delay it? And if so, what do you think?
Well, if they take it at 62, people just need to be aware that they're going to see a 30% decrease from what their full retirement age benefit's going to be. And so you need to weigh in. If you take it in early, are you going to invest the dollars? We hear this all the time. Oh, I'm going to take it early, I'm going to invest the dollars and I'll make up for it. What we find more often than not is when more dollars are coming into the household, they're being spent. So the take it early and invest doesn't typically work from what we see.
What about the person that says, I'm just going to take it early because I just want to get my money and enjoy my life? Maybe they're not thinking about investing it, but they're thinking that the Social Security system's going broke or bankrupt, or they don't think they're going to live long enough to recoup the decision to wait.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the unknown factors that we don't know is how long are you going to live? If you could tell me how, for everybody, when you're going to die, we could give you the exact date to take Social Security. But if the break even is about 79 to 81, and so if you think you're going to make it about average life expectancy, it could make sense. I know you and I have talked about it could make sense to whoever has the higher benefit of the spouses, maybe delay the higher of the benefit and consider taking the other benefit early if you do want to get some supplemental income up front.
Okay, so to clarify, when you say break even, so the point at which someone must live to for it to make sense to have delayed versus taking it early. Mm-hmm. In other words, okay, what you just said, so if someone takes it at 62 and they die before the break-even point, before 79 or 80, they're better off taking it earlier.
Right.
Okay.
And so you want to consider things like the life expectancy or the parents' history and that kind of thing of seeing how long they're going to live.
Okay. Yeah, I think nobody anticipates they're going to live as long as they do, and kind of ties into what Ricky says. Get your Social Security benefit early because most people don't even make it until 70, and then they keep the change, and I'll wait till 70, and yeah, right, Social Security wins in the end. So talk to us about longevity, and also, if you would, talk to us a little bit about the solvency of the Social Security program itself.
Okay, yeah, great questions. I'm going to live till 114.
Okay, good. I'll mark it down. You heard it here first.
I found out living till 114 is 1,000,000 hours of life. But besides me, people are living longer now. If you're married and you have your spouse, there's a 50% chance that one of you are going to live into your mid-90s.
Okay.
And so with Social Security, I mean, yes, that means we want to make sure that you're getting compensated for that. And now you're over that break-even point. You're getting more money out of that system that you've been putting into for all these years.
Okay.
And you're right, the system is going bankrupt. Good news is that instead of 2034, it's gone back a year. It's now 2035 that the Social Security system is going to be depleted, or the trust fund. So a couple of ways that you could fix that. There's an income cap. I think it's about $168,000, somewhere in that range. And if you make over that number, you're no longer taxed at Social Security taxes. So the way it works is 6.2% is paid by the employee and 6.2 is paid by the employer, and then 12.4 if you're self-employed. But you no longer pay that income tax if you make over that wage cap. So if we eliminate that, and I know no one wants to pay more taxes, and we don't want to tip the IRS, But if that can help solve the system, that's one lever that we can look at. Another one is the full retirement age currently is 67. They've pushed that back a couple of years already, so maybe we need to push that back. Another thing is 62 is the earliest you can take it. We may need to push that back as well.
Right.
So really there's a combination of all these different levers that you can pull to solve the system. But I'm sure you're thinking, well, when are they going to do this? It's going to be December 31st of 2034.
When it's a crisis.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Well, I remember back in the 80s, I think it was Greenspan that was in charge of the committee. Full retirement age used to be 65, and then they pushed it out to 66 and then 67. And it took, I think, 20 or 30 years to come into place. So you're suggesting that they might or should do that again?
I mean, it may be what we have to do. So the people are living longer too, like we discussed. And you used to be able to take Social Security at 65. People used to retire at 65 with a pretty good pension. And sad to say, but then they would die shortly after. Social Security was never meant to be your full retirement.
Or at least for 30 years.
Yeah.
Like people are living now. Mm-hmm. And I read somewhere that the numbers as we see them today were created in the 40s. And the life expectancy then was mid-60s.
So it's been a while since we've made some updates.
So in other words, the system needs some adjusting, and in order to keep the system solvent, you think they will make, the politicians will make the adjustments, but they're going to wait till it's a crisis?
If they don't, and I highly don't believe that they won't make any adjustments.
Because they'd get voted out of office.
Sure.
The voters would put them out on the street the very next election. Mm-hmm. But I digress.
But if they make zero changes to the overall system, yes, the trust funds will be depleted. But fortunately, whether it seems like people are working or not nowadays, it's Social Security benefit comes out of payroll tax. And so as long as people are working, about 75 to 80% of your benefit can still be paid out. And so I bring this up because a lot of people that don't believe the system will be there, they say, well, I don't want to include Social Security in my financial plan. I would not do that. I would include some form of Social Security. If you want to be conservative, maybe 50%, but as long as if they made no changes, 75 to 80%.
Yeah, I think it'd be a political career ender if a politician let the system die on their watch. All right, well, thanks for hashing that out. So switching gears a little bit, so Scooter writes in and he says, you kind of alluded to this, but whether you work in retirement is also a factor for some. You start to lose the benefit, though you may get some of it back if you earn above a certain amount, and this only applies to earned income until you reach your full retirement age. For well-paid professionals who might continue working or do some part-time consulting in early retirement, waiting until at least full retirement age seems like a no-brainer to me. What are your thoughts for Scooter's comment?
Scooter is absolutely right. So there is a penalty. The number is 23 or 24,000, very, very low. So if you make over that amount, every $2 you make over that, they'll reduce your Social Security benefit by $1. And so if you are going to take Social Security early and want to double dip, you will want to wait until full retirement age, because then there's no penalty on your Social Security benefit.
Or work and just stay under that threshold.
Sure, yeah.
So now it's earned income. So talk to us about what is earned income, and do IRA distributions count towards that? How about real estate rental income? How do they calculate this earnings penalty?
So I guess tell me more there on earned income. I'm not sure about the IRA distributions. I know that does count as income, but
But not on the...
Oh, okay. Well, that's good news. So you can still take IRA distributions.
It's just your W-2.
Perfect.
It's just wages.
Okay. So if you would have to be employed, have W-2 income or 1099, so just make sure. And one fun fact is that some people are worried if they retire mid-year. So say you made $100,000 six months into the year. Maybe you don't want to take Social Security because you're afraid of that penalty. They're not looking at the income you made in the year of retirement. So that first year in retirement, that income doesn't count towards that income earning limit.
Very cool. These are great questions coming in. Matt, why don't you read us the next one?
Sure. We have one from Thomas, and he says, need to mention those of us who have minor children at 62. It will definitely bump up the break-even point.
Okay, Thomas must be talking about the child and care benefits. So, and he's right, he does bring up a good point. So if you are collecting a Social Security benefit and you have a minor child, there are additional Social Security, there's additional Social Security income that can come to you known as child and care benefits. And so you not only can you receive your benefit, but you get an additional benefit, or your kids get a benefit because of this. And it all plays into, there's a family maximum amount. So Social Security will pay a maximum amount per family, and it increases every single year. But great example of this is so, there's 1,800 rules to the system here. It's so complex, and everybody's decision of when should I collect, when should I claim, early, late, it's so personal, and it should be made in the context of your overall financial plan, because you can't make these decisions in a vacuum. But Thomas brings up a great point. If this situation applies to you, this could be one of those examples of when you do take the benefit earlier, because you're actually getting a boost because of those minor children.
See, the answer always isn't take it at 70.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah. The answer is usually it depends.
I've got a big question for you, Brad. Let's see. It says, "Hi, Brad. I have a question. I will be turning 60 next August. I have been a widow since 2017, and my late husband and I he was collecting Social Security at 62. Recently, I visited my local Social Security office to ask questions about Social Security surviving spouse benefits. I know the annual working income limit for 2024 is $22,320, and it is about $1,860 monthly. I know that it is taking $1 out of my benefit for every $2 over that limit. I have told them I earn close to $50,000 this year in 2023. When I do the math, I get a little bit of benefit each month. Not that much though. I was told not to apply because my income is too high. He suggested I start working part-time in the future and I can apply for the benefit at my lower income. Nowhere on the Social Security Administration website did I read that there is an absolute maximum income before you should not bother to apply for the benefit. He wouldn't do any of the calculations to see if I'm eligible for anything. Was I giving correct information?"
Okay, great question. There's a lot to unpack here. So let's just take this one at a time. So the first one, what's going on is she lost her husband. Sorry for your loss. And she is eligible to receive a survivor benefit as early as 60. Age 60 is when you can start. Now it's going to be reduced. If you take it as early as 60, it's reduced. So she can take that survivor benefit, and the advice that she's getting from the Social Security office actually sounds like it might be good here, in the sense that she's earning $50,000 a year, and she's right that for every $2 that's earned, they're going to withhold $1 from that Social Security check. So on $50,000 of earned income, they're going to withhold $25,000 from Social Security. Now, without knowing exactly what that reduced survivor benefit is going to be, we can't say for sure, but it sounds like from her comments, she thinks she's going to get a few dollars. So in other words, her survivor benefit is going to be a little bit more than the $25,000 annual. So in her case, it sounds like the advice is good. What Social Security is telling her is, hey, go ahead and work part-time and try to drop your income down and then supplement it with that survivor benefit. Your income stays the same, but your working hours have gone down. Mm-hmm. I think that's what they're saying. Another thing that she could consider is, if she wants to continue earning, if she likes work and she wants to continue earning the $50,000, she could let that survivor benefit delay and continue to accrue, and it will get larger with every year up until her full retirement age. Well, meanwhile, and without looking at her earnings history, we can't say for sure, but this is a strategy that could apply to a lot of people. Her own benefit can continue to accrue and get those delayed retirement credits. Her own benefit can delay all the way up until 70. Mm-hmm. So one thing she could consider is she can continue working until full retirement age. She can then go on her survivor benefit, and then assuming if her benefit is larger than the survivor, she could then switch over to her own benefit at age 70, and it's going to be about 70% larger than it would have been at 62. So lots going on here, and there's no one size fits all right answer, but it sounds like she's been given decent advice. Now, I have to caution people, you got to be careful with the advice that you are receiving, because we are getting some conflicting reports from folks that we talk to, that sometimes they'll get a good answer from the Social Security office, sometimes they don't. So I guess it depends on who you speak to down there. Mm-hmm. another reason for why you may want to consider working with a professional. 1,800 rules, there's a lot to know here.
Let's say that she did claim her benefit while still making the $50,000 and her Social Security benefit came to zero. Does she get paid back?
She does. So the amount that's being withheld goes to increase her benefit at full retirement age. So she does, and then it's spread out over many years, but it takes a long time to recoup that. So in most cases, when people are going to be affected by the earnings penalty, we suggest just hold off on taking your Social Security until you're at full retirement age, or you fully stop working, or you've reduced your work enough to where you're not hit by that earnings penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
So, well, this is a big subject, and I know that we're probably going to be shooting more of these in the future. But any other thoughts? Anything else to add on Social Security in general? I
would just end with that it definitely depends on when to take Social Security. We've seen it make sense to take it at 62, before full retirement age, and out to 70. But just know it doesn't make any sense not to take it past 70. So if you get to 70, the answer is always yes.
Yeah, good point. And my feedback is, I think in general, people live longer than they think they're going to live, and they love to push back on that and say, well, you just don't know. My parents died at 70, and I'm going to die. I understand that, but the data tells us that we are living in a time where we're not working in the coal mines and the factories predominantly like we used to generations ago. For many of us, we're working in offices, and we're taking better care of ourselves, and there's better technology out there. So life expectancy does continue to push, which is why oftentimes I'll advocate to consider delaying until full retirement age, or even think about 70. But you brought up a point earlier, and I really like what you brought up earlier. If you're married, it really is a two-person decision, where the person that has the higher benefit, you really ought to be thinking about that in the context of two life expectancies. It's not just yours, it's your spouse's, because that larger benefit will live on for whoever lives the longest. And so I really like what you said about that. And I think a good hedging strategy, a hedging technique, if you're not comfortable delaying both benefits till 70, and because you'd have to make the assumption that you're going to live till at least 80, around there. If you're not comfortable with that, delay the higher benefit to 70, grab the lower benefit as early as you want. And if that makes you sleep at night, okay, great. I'd feel better for you, because the higher benefit is now there for whoever lives the longest. So this is one of those sort of compromise strategies that we see people make. And I noticed in the work that we do, it seems to create a lot of peace for people. And it also helps their financial plan, because if someone should make, my wife just lost her grandmother almost at the age of 97. At the age of 97. That is so much longer than anybody no one thought that she was going to live that long. She just did. And I'm hearing stories like that in the work that we do. Time and time again, we're hearing that people are living way longer than we ever would have suspected. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, and one more thing to piggyback on there, you got me thinking, is that a common misconception of Social Security is that you get both benefits when someone passes away, but Brad mentioned you do only get the higher of the two. And then delay the higher of the two benefits to 70, and that could be great, but you're not committed. You don't have to do that. If something happens along the way, you can turn on that spigot to turn Social Security on early, but just know every month you're waiting after full retirement age, you're getting an increase. So you don't have to wait a whole year to get 8% increase in benefit. It's increasing at 2/3% every month you're waiting.
It's such a great point. And as much as I'd like to sit here and say, yes, invest your money and you too can get an 8% guaranteed return, you can't use that in the work that we do. The markets are too volatile. Sometimes they'll do better than 8%, but oftentimes they don't. So that's where the guarantee of the taxing ability of the Social Security and the government essentially comes into play. I do believe they're going to fix the problem. I do believe Social Security is going to be here for all of us. It's going to look a little bit different, but they've made changes in the past. And I almost think it's politically convenient to let this thing become a crisis, because then the politicians go, oh, I had to. Oh, we didn't want it to go bankrupt. Oh, we had to raise taxes. Oh, we had to push the ages out. They're going to do that. They're not going to let this thing break down on their watch. And it makes me sad because I see so many people making the decision to take the benefit too early, in my opinion, as we look at their plans, because they're just misinformed, or it's also could be just out of emotion and fear.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, in wrapping this up, tons to know here with Social Security. We hope you found this helpful and valuable. And if you did, please share it with people who you think it could benefit, and make sure to subscribe to our channel below, and we'll send you more content like this. All right. Take care. We'll see you soon.